Hey guys, I'm John Setzler. Welcome back to the Kamado Joe Cooking Channel. Thanksgiving is just around the corner and we're going to go ahead and do another turkey video this year. We're going to use the Big Joe and we're going to do a spatchcocked turkey for this year's Thanksgiving. So let's get started. First thing I want to do is make a brine and then chill the brine for this turkey. I've got 1.5 gallons of water here, which I think will be enough. And to that, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of brown sugar and 1 cup of kosher salt. And I'm just going to stir that until that's completely dissolved. And then I'm going to put the lid on this and I'm going to toss it in the refrigerator until this is completely chilled. Okay, I've taken my bird out of the wrapping, I've rinsed it off and partially thawed it. This bird's not completely thawed yet, but it will thaw in the brine. So we're going to dump our brine in. That's going to work out just about perfectly. So I'll weight that bird down a little bit and we're going to put that in the refrigerator. And when you're brining a turkey, you want to brine it for at least 1 hour per pound. So we've got to let this guy go in the brine overnight for about 14 hours before we come back to the next stage. So I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator and we'll see you tomorrow. My brine is complete. I've taken the turkey out of the brine and I've rinsed it off and patted it dry as best I can with some paper towels. And now we're going to start prepping it. And I've laid this here on my cutting board with the breast side up. And the first thing I want to do, which is going to kind of be hard to see in the light that I've got here, is open this up. Right in here we have our wishbone, and I want to take that out because it'll be a lot easier to slice the breast right off the carcass when I have that out. I've already kind of cut that loose a little bit, and we're just going to work that. And well, I actually broke it. We're going to pull it out. So I have the pieces of it here that I actually broke as I was pulling them out. So that's the first step you want to do. The next step is I'm going to flip the turkey over breast side down and we're going to locate the backbone, which runs right along here. And you're going to need a decent pair of poultry shears to make this cut. So you want to just run up the back along the backbone. And as you get down to the hip here, it's going to take a little extra muscle to get through that. And you're going to come back once you get all the way through and work down the opposite side to take the spine completely out. And once you have that cut loose, you'll just set it aside. The next thing we want to do is inside here, you can, now that you have the backbone out, you can see the breastbone. It runs right along through here. This is called the keel bone. There's a piece of cartilage right here up front that we want to take a very sharp knife and slice through that cartilage. And it'll just fall open like that once you have that sliced through. And now you have an option. You can take out the keel bone if you like, or you can leave it in there. If you want to take it out, you just want to cut a slice, slice into it right around the edges of it. And then you can work that out. But I typically leave my keel bone in. So now we're ready to flip this bird over. And then we'll just turn the legs out and give it a press down. And that lays flat. Once you have that cartilage cut, this bird will lay down nice and flat for you. So the next thing I've done here is I've just put this back on a half sheet pan, and what I want to do is I want to put this back in the refrigerator. And you want to go as long as you can on this. You'd like to ultimately go for about 24 hours, but you can go 12 to 24 hours. And the reason you do this is going back in the refrigerator allows the skin to dry out some more, and it allows you to remove some of the moisture back out of that skin that went back into it during the brining process. So when we cook, we can help get a crispier skin. So my schedule is I'm going to be able to put this back in for about 10 hours before we're actually ready to cook. So I'm going to put this back in and then we'll be back. First thing we're going to do out here is I have got a fairly nice load of hardwood lump charcoal in the firebox of my Big Joe, and I've lit a fire right in the center. And here I have taken one rather large chunk of cherry wood and broken it into some smaller pieces that we're going to place around the center of this fire. And then I'm going to put the heat deflectors in the low position. And then we're going to put both halves of the grill grate in the upper position. We're going to set up here for indirect cooking. And I'm going to bring the temperature in the Big Joe up to somewhere between 375 and 400. In order to get the Big Joe to come in around 375 to 400, I'm going to close the bottom vent about halfway. And I'm going to close the slider on the top vent about halfway until the temperature comes up. And as it starts to approach our 375 to 400 range, I'll close this down a little more. But in the meantime, to speed things up, I'm going to leave it all the way open until we get up to about 300 degrees, and then I'll start bringing it down slowly. Okay, I've taken my turkey out of the refrigerator and I've put it on another half sheet that I've lined with foil, and I've got a little cooking rack sitting on here, setting this turkey up above the base of the pan. And this is a good practice to do if you want to collect the drippings from this turkey to make a gravy with or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and finish preparing this turkey. And one of the things I like to do is I like to inject mine with a mixture of melted butter that's got a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder in it. So I just like to inject this into the meat all the way around this turkey. And once I have that completely injected, I like to pour a little bit of that melted butter, and I like to rub it all over the outside of the skin on this turkey. And you'll see that it's going to harden up because the turkey's still cold. And once I have all that butter on there, I like to shake on a good bit of dried thyme onto the top of this bird. And now this thing's ready for the grill. As soon as our Kamado Joe Big Joe comes up to temperature, we'll take it out and we'll put it on. Our grill is coming up to temperature. We're at about 300 degrees, but I'm going to go ahead and put this turkey on. And we're just going to set this on here on the pan, right in the middle of the grill, just like that. And I'm going to let the temperature continue to come up in this grill, like I said, somewhere between 375 and 400, and I'll keep adjusting the vents until I get to that, and I'll go ahead and start the timer so we'll know how long it takes. We are shooting for an internal temperature in the breast, a finishing temperature here of about 150 degrees, and then about 165 in the thigh. That's what we're looking for before we'll take this bird off. So we'll be back. Okay guys, we've been going right at 2 hours. And this turkey is ready. I'm actually measuring about 155 degrees in both sides. It's cooked very evenly on the breast, and I'm at about 168 or 169 in the thighs. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to tin it with foil, and we're going to let it rest for about 20 minutes. Okay guys, I've rested this for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to cut some of this apart here, and we're going to have a taste. Okay guys, I've got some of this breast here, and I've just cut this breast off, cut some pieces off the end of it here, and let's have a taste first of all of the skin that we've got here. Wonderful. It's got the perfect bite through texture. It's not crisp, it's not rubbery, it's right in the middle. And this meat is just beautiful. Pull apart tender. Let's have a taste of that. That's beautiful. The butter injection in a turkey, in my opinion, is the way to go. Guys, give this a try. Let me know what you think. Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/KamadoJoe. Follow us on Twitter @KamadoJoe. And until next time, I'm John Setzler with the Kamado Joe Cooking Channel.